ranking every X-Men movie from worst to best after the release of Deadpool and Wolverine. In dead last place, it's the New Mutants. I don't know what they were trying to do with this. I'm pretty sure their entire strategy was just to get Anya Taylor-Joy and then one of the kids from Game of Thrones and Stranger Things, throw them into a project and just hope it works, and it did not. And the sad part is, I feel like there was potential with this cast for this movie to actually be good, but I'm sorry, the writing's just all over the place. They go for some like weird half horror elements in this movie, and it ends up just feeling like a jumbled mess that has no idea what it's trying to be. At number 13 is Dark Phoenix, which kind of breaks my heart because I absolutely love these younger versions of our X-Men characters, and I think they're a part of some great movies, but sadly this was not one of them. The movie kind of just doesn't do anything new that we haven't seen in an X-Men film before, and it just doesn't really work. And it's not helped by the fact that Jessica Chastain, who is an amazing actress, is playing one of the most forgettable, dull, and just unexplained and explored villains of all time. Like, I don't even think she remembers she was in this movie. And my girl Mystique gets absolutely disrespected with just one of the dumbest and most unnecessary movie deaths I've ever seen in my life. Number 12 is X-Men Origins Wolverine. I actually think like the first like 45 minutes of this movie is really good. It's kind of just Wolverine out in a cabin with his girlfriend just doing stuff, and it's kind of cool at that point. But then the movie decides it's going to take a one-way trip to Stupidville, and we just get really dumb. Like, Gambit in this movie, I'm sorry, he is not good. So many just pointless twists and turns at the end of this movie that really make absolutely no sense and are incredibly stupid, but they just wanted a twist in the movie, so they just bring people back to life even though it makes no sense, and it really just kills any momentum the film had early on. At number 11, I have The Wolverine. Sadly, the movie can never live up to how dope the premise of the Wolverine being in Japan is. Don't get me wrong, there are some great fight scenes in this movie and some really just cool aesthetics, but I feel like it just never goes far enough into what it could be, and then at the end we just get a stupid robot fight, and it really just never sticks to landing in my opinion. At 10, I have X-Men The Last Stand. I can't lie, I still actually enjoy this movie. I can accept that it is definitely a mess and there's too much going on, but there's so many moments that just give me that true just comic book feeling in this film. I think the main problem with this film is that we couldn't really decide if we wanted Jean or Magneto to be the main villain, so we end up just kind of having them both be the villain, and they kind of feel like it's very crowded in this film. If they just picked one, it could have been a really great movie, but overall I still enjoy this film. At number 9 is Deadpool 2. This is just way too similar to the first Deadpool movie, but just not as funny or entertaining, which is what I go to a Deadpool movie for, and I don't think a lot of the supporting characters are really that great either. The kid that Deadpool becomes friends with is fine as an actor. I actually like him in other things, but in this movie I just don't really care for their relationship for some reason, and then you do the ultimate sin of undoing everything with time travel in the post-credit scene. Just make that in the actual movie, please. At number 8, I have the first X-Men movie. This is just kind of a classic, and I really enjoy this film. We get absolutely incredible Charles Xavier and Magneto moments all throughout this entire film. They are just eating up this script. It's got a great balance of knowing how goofy it can be at times while also having some really great just serious moments between certain characters. I really love a lot of the dynamics between the X-Men established in this film, and that Statue of Liberty third act fight is also just iconic. 7 might be one of my hottest takes of all time. I have X-Men Apocalypse this high up. I actually really enjoy this film, and I don't get why it gets so much hate. I think a lot of the action in this movie is actually super good, and a lot of the characters get their own unique moment to shine and really show off their powers and skill set. I think a lot of the different pairings that we end up having with like Magneto going with Apocalypse work really well, and we also get really great Magneto moments of him losing his family. I mean, come on, we get that iconic Quicksilver slow-mo but super speed saving everyone scene that is absolutely one of my favorite superhero movie scenes of all time. I will never let people tell me this movie doesn't kind of rip. I even think Oscar Isaac caught way too much hate for his performance as Apocalypse. Like, was he winning an Oscar for this role? No pun intended, no. But I do think he was doing the best he could with what he was given, and I don't think what he was given was that bad. At 6, I have the first Deadpool. This movie is just purely based off of vibes, and I rock with the vibes of this movie so much. I laugh at most of the jokes that are made. I think a lot of the action is just really fresh and unique and takes advantage of that R rating. Everything with him and Vanessa is great. The only complaint is that this basically isn't even a movie. It's basically him on a highway for half of it. We get a little bit of his origin, and then it's like, oh no, my girlfriend got kidnapped, but I really don't care. I don't go to Deadpool movies for the story. I go for the humor, like I said. Let me know your top 5 favorite X-Men movies in the comments below right now before I get into mine, and hit that like button if you haven't already. And shameless plug, go follow me on Letterboxd at Vets Movies. I would really appreciate it. Trying to grow my following over there. We just hit 2,000. At number 5, I have X-Men First Class. As I said before, I think they nailed all the younger version castings of all the X-Men characters, specifically Charles and Magneto. I think they were perfect. Magneto's bar scene in this is just an absolutely iconic superhero movie scene, one of the best we've ever seen if I'm being honest. The entire just third act and that whole beach fight and everything that happens between Magneto and Charles is also amazing. There's just so many great moments in this movie. Will I ever forgive them for killing off Darwin's, whose ability is to adapt and survive to everything? No, I won't, but it doesn't take away from how good this movie actually is. At number 4 is Deadpool and Wolverine don't worry, I'm not going to go into any spoilers in this video, but at the end of this, I will link my full review if you want to watch it. As I said, I go to Deadpool movies for purely the vibes, and all the humor in this movie was just working for me. I was laughing at pretty much every joke they were saying. There's like 1,000,001 cameos, but somehow all of them just work and have so many great moments and so many great jokes as well. Definitely some lackluster things. Like I said, the story is not great, but I kind of know what I'm getting into with the Deadpool movie, and some of the action I feel like doesn't fully take advantage of that R rating, but there are also incredible action sequences like at the very beginning. And at the end of the day, yes, it's nostalgia bait, but I am a person and the nostalgia works for me. I love seeing Hugh Jackman back as Wolverine and all the other characters that returned. It worked for me. At number 3, I have X2. I truly think this is one of the best superhero movie sequels of all time. I love this. Everything from the first movie is pretty much just elevated in this one. Stryker is incredible in this movie. I also just love how many great moments Logan gets to himself. We get the awesome invasion on X Mansion. It's one of my favorite superhero movie scenes. I've said that a lot, but the X-Men movies have a lot of really iconic scenes. I also truly love the ending of this movie and everything with Jean's sacrifice. Yes, it does kind of all get undone in later movies, but that's a problem in those movies, and this one, I think it's a great film. At number 2, I have X-Men Days of Future Past. There is just so much to love about this. It's the perfect blending of both the younger and older versions of these characters, both of which, as I've said, I think are incredible, and Logan gets so many great moments in this. Once this movie gets going, it really never slows down. It is just non-stop intense action and just moments, and the drama is hitting on all levels in this movie. Plus, Magneto's aura alone honestly makes this like a 9 out of 10. He is insane at the end of this movie, and it's amazing. Number 1, it's not even really a competition in my opinion. Logan is easily the best X-Men film ever made. It's just so down to earth and realistic and gritty. I really just love how personal of a movie this is. The connection between Logan, Charles, Caliban, and Laura, they're all incredible, and the dynamics again are just so realistic. Everybody's just so beat down and defeated, but they're still trying to do the best they can for each other. It's got killer action, again, takes advantage of that R rating, but it's also got just those really great personal character moments, and it makes me cry at the end every time, which I can't say for any other X-Men movies. This is just peak 10 out of 10 and an amazing movie.